Hello everyone, it's Tess. Oops, look at me messing up already. It's Tess and today is Sunday, August 15th. Oh no, my phone is trying to reconnect. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have internet problems. I am fresh back from being out of power for the most of the past week. Hi Miss Ruth, how are you? I was just laughing. My internet just told me that I was being disconnected, so I hope I don't lose it. Today is the first day back to power since we lost it all early last week. And I thought today we'd just kind of check in and see how everyone's doing and what kind of issues people are facing or anything they want to talk about. Somebody reached out to me privately and wanted me to share my journey a little bit more. They wondered kind of how I came through this process. And I think this is a time like any of us can share our journey because I know our journeys are different for all of us. Hello, hello, hello. And Miss Ruth, now we're not going to connect up in September. It'll be March, but that'll be something we can all look forward to. And I guess for me, and when I do these lives, I guess I don't always try to focus on myself a lot. It's back to the old saying for all of us that maybe sometimes we think that our stories aren't interesting, but I think what's happening is that we've all faced this in different ways. And if there's just some little nugget that one of us can gather that can help another person, I think it goes in a circle and it comes back to us at a later point in time. This journey was really important to me because it was the second time. And I didn't want to have a repetitive pattern of trying to lose weight, gaining it back, lose weight, gaining it back, because that's a pattern that's it hurts the heart. I think it hurts your self-confidence, it hurts your heart, it hurts your health, it hurts all areas of your life. And I think the one big thing that I went into this time is that no matter what obstacle I faced, I was never going to stop trying. I was never going to stop looking for new avenues. I was never going to stop trying to reach out to people. I was never going to stop learning. For me, I had to go through an embarrassing thing, and maybe this is what I'll share right now. So if anybody has any thoughts they want to share, anything they want to talk about, I'll kind of say this only because somebody reached out to me earlier tonight about this. The reason I approached this time, the bariatric surgery, different is that probably about 20 or 25 years ago, I had lost 116 pounds. I trained for a bike ride to raise money for Make-A-Wish. I rode 100 miles a day on a bicycle for 3 days. I was in the best place of my life. I ran into some medical problems. I ended up having iron infusions, which is a bag of saline with iron in it, because my blood counts were low. Through the process, I was told to eat all the time. I was told to eat things that were high in iron, and I gained all my weight back plus some. But the hardest part, I think, of that journey for me was that when I was at my lowest, I was training with a trainer at the gym that's local to me here. And I actually started teaching nutrition classes at the gym. Because I was in the gym so many days a week, they actually reached out to me and asked me if I would be part of that with one of the owners, and I was. And I think the most humiliating day for me was the day that I knew I had to step down, because I didn't want to make them have me step down, because I wasn't any kind of a role model when I'd gained all the weight back. I have to say, in fairness to them, they never asked me to step down, but I knew that I couldn't help their business if I had been gaining the weight back. Oh, hi, Lisa. Good to see you. I'm just sharing a little bit about my journey because somebody was asking me earlier today. And this is a time for anyone. If you guys want to share anything about your journey or about your life, or if you have any questions or thoughts. One thing I'll kind of even retouch is that I've been out of power. This is like my first day of power in probably 5 or 6 days. And what I did during the process is I went back through my notes from the early days of Doc V. So like this particular book that I've been pulling stuff out of recently was from day 35 of the challenge, which means it was April of 2020 when I was early in the challenge with him. And the information is just as good here now and revisiting it, because it gives me a chance to go back and look at some of the videos again. But I think for me, I know that this time, and for all of us, no matter what obstacle I face, I need to be strong enough to look for another avenue. You know, like we all hear the doc talk about, we have to aim, adjust. Well, we have to fire, adjust, fire, adjust, fire, adjust, and keep moving. And I think that is probably the number one critical thing for me, because I don't want to go backwards again, or if I start to slide, which I think is a natural human thing to do, I want to react faster and I want to make adjustments faster, because I went blindly. I know part of it might have been that it was medical, but I went blindly, and that I shut down all areas of monitoring my progress, throwing in the towel, going, oh, well, I have a medical issue, I'm not going to do it. Strong enough to look for another avenue. That's potent. So hard to do, but the right thing. And you know, if that is the one strongest thing I could tell you guys this time, I don't ever want to do it again. I do not want to have to walk that path. I don't want to have to tuck my tail between my legs and be embarrassed to tell everyone that a team got behind me and tried to support me. I think I've invested so much time and effort with Doc V, because this has to be my way out, to beat our issues with food. Yeah, Ruth, you're right. To beat our issues with food and ourselves. And I think that's what's so great about Doc V's program, is it does, as many times as people will get upset and say, I only want the food part of it, what they're missing is the gift is that in order to get control of the food part of it, you've got to get control of all of it. I was even thinking today, because my pattern has been messed up. I mean, when my power went out, I have certain foods that I prep and I have in my house. And I usually take, like, especially now, I've been giving away tomatoes like crazy, because I can't prep them like I normally do. So I eat them and I share them, because my peak of tomatoes have been coming in right now during all this power outages. And I can't really freeze stuff, and I can't be opening and closing refrigerators a lot. But it made me recognize even that my pattern of having a few things ready, like I make baked eggs. That's just something I got in the habit of. That's just a quick thing. I grab that if I'm busy at the workday. And all I do is I find every kind of vegetable that I have, or vegetables that are going old in the house. I cut them up in small pieces. I mix them with, I blend up eggs, put in a few spices, bake them in the oven for probably 20 minutes. And then I put them in a container, and at any point, if I'm just craving something, I'll eat one of those. And I don't mean craving, but I mean if I need food, because I kind of feel that that's a food that I can eat at any point in time. So that's probably, that is something that I have on hand at all times. And I honestly not today, I've gone for 2 days now without them prepped, because I couldn't cook. And I could tell that when I didn't have my plan, because I felt out of control, because I had no power, and I was trying to make sure I had gas for a generator to keep the house cool, or to, you know, I had to make arrangements because I had to go into the office because I had quarterly things due. So my pattern got disrupted. And I did notice that with my pattern getting disrupted, my life pattern changed. So like I've talked in the past about, how am I going to move forward when I have to go back to the office on a regular basis? And it did help me to recognize, so I'm going to consider it a gift. I lost power for 5 days. The gift in that is that I need to be ready so that I don't fall into a pattern, because I kind of felt lost. Even though I stuck to it, and, you know, I didn't lose much weight, I didn't gain weight, but I didn't feel exactly right. And the one bonus is my mom, we actually have walked every single day. I mean, and she's really kind of funny now, because she'll go, I want to walk long today. So she likes to shoot for 8,000 steps before 7 o'clock in the morning, and we've done it 2 days in the past few days. But if you can look for those ways to make it fun, and then look for ways to keep yourself going when the unexpected happens, because thank heaven I had enough stuff ready and enough food handy, because even in our stores were empty shelves. And thankful for me that I had a garden, so I could grab lettuce out of the garden, or I could grab tomatoes out of the garden, or I could grab, you know, whatever, strawberries. I have strawberries out there. My raspberries aren't producing yet, but I have ever-bearing strawberries, so they're producing at any time. But I guess the best gift, I could even say my lesson in this past 5 days of no power, is be careful not to fall in the victim mode when something like that happens. I made myself weigh myself every single day. I knew if I was gaining, I knew if I was losing, and then I reevaluated. Am I drinking my water? Am I eating quality foods? How does my body feel? And when I fell out of my normal pattern, I could tell my body felt a little bit differently. So those are kind of things I'm inventorying to move forward. My mom and I walked. Every single day we walked. I made sure that I had something, because when I had to go into the office, there was no food there. There's not even vending food there. Hi, Miss Rachel. So the new idea of the office for us is there's no cafeteria, there's no vending food of any type. They had some bottled pop. They are not even allowing the coffee machines to be used. I don't drink coffee, so it didn't hurt my feelings. But even water was one of those things that I would have to buy a bottle of water, or the water would not be available to me. So you're going to kind of have to think about, what does life look like? So thankfully for me, I had enough stuff ready that I was able to take something with me to the office, because I didn't know what was going to be there. And I had to go into the office for 2 days because I had mandatory filings with the states we do business with that were due by today, August 15th. So I had to go in and get what they call wet, which is official original signatures, had to be out, in order to meet our deadlines. We might have been able to get an extension, but the problem is it was so late that we had the power out that to try to get extensions, it wouldn't have worked. We had to just do it. But it made me realize that we do have to be adaptable, and that adaptability, that is what's different for me this time in this journey, is that I'm always looking for what the next thing is that I can tweak. Not a big tweak. It is always a baby step. Can I increase my water 10 more ounces today? My mom wants to walk 8,000 steps now instead of 6,000. And we walk in the morning before the workday even starts. My mom, bless her heart, retired, will show up down here at 5 a.m. so that we can get a walk in before I start my workday. So I think for everybody, if you can start to look at where if you are not back in, if you have already returned to the workforce, then you've already kind of seen how that's going to affect you. If you have kids getting back to school, you can kind of look at how that might affect you. If you're going back into the workforce, you can kind of look at how that's going to affect you. Because I actually even, thank heaven, I have a 64-ounce bottle of water that I carry with me, because now when I go back to the office, I'll take 2 of them with me, and I have 2 64-ouncers. But the reason I'll do that is because I can't even because our drinking fountains were completely closed off. Our water out of the coffee machine was completely closed off. The only thing you could get was a bottled water that you paid for. Now, if you know anything about those machines, it's only going to be about the first maybe 20 people that are going to get water, and then it's done. So I think those are things to kind of plan for. I did remember we have a little track next to the office, so if I start to get stressed, I'm going to just go walk that track and come back. I think if there's any comments or thoughts, I will look back here to see if I see anyone's comments or thoughts, because again, this is about all of us, anything that you guys want to share. Otherwise, I might talk about some of these things that I've been finding. These are jewels in the rough. This will go back to journaling. We all know I love journaling. These are my journals from in the very beginning when I started with Doc V. This is day 35, which is April 4th, 2020. And what I would do is I just wrote down what our things were, and I would tick them. Well, since I've had no power, and I've had some tasks I had to do, I had to get a personal PowerPoint presentation ready. That was kind of weird. But I started going back looking at these notes, because I'm always looking for what can I do to fine tune my journey. I can't go back. This is my second time battling this. And I know I think I've shared this before, but the one thing that really sent me looking for help strongly this time was that it got back to me that my dad was worried about who would take care of me if they were no longer here. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard pill to swallow, to think that where would you be? Where would you be if you kept going? Because you got to remember, I was a BMI of 60, so that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to swallow. I had handrails on both sides of my stairs to go up and down my stairs, because there was concern that if I fell, how bad would I be hurt, and would I be laid up? And if I got laid up, who's going to pay the bills? Because that's my job, is to pay the bills. So I guess that made me take it to heart in a different way. And I don't want to like send fear out to everybody, but the first time wasn't as bad as the second time. The first time, at 116 pounds, I was where I'm at now, or less than where I'm at now. And I was at least a normal person. The second time around, I was a BMI of 60, which is really high. I can't afford a third time. I don't know what a third time would do. So if there's something we can all do for ourselves, is get scared. Get scared that you can never go down that path again. Get scared of what your life is going to be like if you don't take control of it. It goes back to this day 35, but disrupt your soil. And this day 35 is, and Dr. V, I quote Dr. V in these sometimes. He says, Dr. V is an evil genius, because whenever he gets an aha and he tells us in the challenge group, he'll go, that's an evil genius. That's mine. Make sure you tell everyone I told you that. And that was one of his. He was talking about unlearning the fear of the risk. And I, for too long, was afraid of the risk. And I didn't realize that the price I was paying was higher than if I had taken that risk. Well, hello. I think I said hi to Rachel, to Lisa, and to Ruth. I'm not sure who else we have on board. But again, feel free to share, because this is our time to come together. But it did trigger me when I started looking back at my notes from my early days with Doc V. But the other thing was that loss of power for the past few days, and someone asking me today about my journey. And the best advice I could give you all is put tools into play every single day so that you have something that you're monitoring, not emotional. Leave emotions out of it. This is just about living a better life. It is true. If you let your emotions, your despair, your hurt, your disappointment, if you let those have a high place in your life, your decisions aren't as strong as they can be. You've got to let those fall down, and you've got to try to keep yourself feeling good. Like, I'm happy, I'm joyful, because that gives you a higher opportunity, because that hope and that joy and that love allows you to make better decisions and gives you the confidence to make the decisions to change your life. And the other part of it is that daily, like you guys are always here, and you guys follow Doc V, or you follow this group, and you're always engaged. You have to stay engaged, because if you don't stay engaged, I noticed just in this past 5 days with no power, it was harder for me to stick to my plan, because my world was disrupted. I could see people around me spinning out of control and angry. I'm going to tell you, I've seen angry people, and I'm like, we're all in this together. I'm sorry, you guys, but if you look at these maps, we had 400,000 people out of power. That was just the way it was. They told us before the storms came through, it's going to be bad and we're going to be out for days. They knew it. It all came up. But it's still, because of COVID, all these emotions came up, and you were seeing people shooting 17-year-olds in stores, like Doc V was saying, don't watch the news because it'll upset you. But if you take that minute to control your emotions and your journey, and don't let anyone else spin you out of control. It really kind of hit home to me these past 5 days, because I had to not engage. You know what? I don't want to engage in that. My life feels better now that I've spent a year working on my self-confidence and working on my self-talk. And in Doc V's day 35, disrupting my soil. Destroying all the negative self-talk, destroying the negative self-talk bridge I built, destroying all the I can't, I won't, I don't know how, it never works for me, disrupting all of that and rebuilding it, saying, I don't care what obstacle presents, I'm going to find a way around it. Somebody said once, and this is a good one to remember, someone said once, everyone talks about powering through the brick wall. She goes, and I'm not even going to bother powering through it. I'm just going to walk around it and keep right on going. And you know what? I don't care whether you power through that brick wall or you walk around it. Just keep going forward. Whatever avenue takes you there, it doesn't matter. If you want to be the Marine that powers through the brick wall, then by all means go for it. If you want to be the Marine that climbs over the wall, go for it. And if you want to be the average person that has to walk around it and keep moving, might take you a few minutes longer, but who cares? You still get to the other side of the wall. So don't, in this time when things are changing again, because I got a heads up. I got a heads up with this power outage, and I can see some areas I need to fine tune. One is I got to make sure that no matter where I'm at, I've got water, because I truly thought being in an office, it would be unlimited, and it's not. It's not, because all that's available is what's in, because our drinking fountains were all blocked off. Nobody could drink out of them. We weren't allowed to take water out of the coffee machines either. So if you have to plan ahead. I have got 2 64-ounce water bottles, or bring your own case of water, whatever you have to do. But don't let anything disrail you. Don't let anything create the soil that you're going to have to disrupt again. Take the baby steps. Know about your smoothies. If you need to make your smoothie and freeze it and let it start to thaw out during the day, you can shake it up and then you can have it when you're ready for it. Make your salad ahead of time. Put your dressing in a different container. Because even for us, if I hadn't had food that I could just toss into a little cooler and take with me to work, the only thing that's available is like maybe one fast food restaurant in a close enough area that I could have got something if I had needed it. And what I've decided is, if I am too lazy to get the food ready, then I don't deserve to eat, because any of that food is really not quality for me. I am still watching for comments, so if you guys are there, I know I feel like I'm on a rant today, and that's not normally me, but it was eye-opening for me. When this power went out, it was eye-opening, because I never expected to be out for 5 days. And it's even little things like I couldn't keep a charge on my phones. My daily lives, I stopped those, because if I had to turn off my phone and plug in my power, because the phone couldn't be on or it wouldn't charge. Internet's all went down. It's kind of funny, like throughout our whole neighborhood. I live in the north. I'm in Michigan, so I don't deal with like Houston, and I'm probably experiencing what they experience in a hurricane, because I walk through my neighborhood and there are generators hooked up to power lines that are utility companies that are trying to keep things going until they can get the power going again. And I never realized that happened, because we've never had power out for any kind of time like that. So I guess just taking the steps, knowing that you're going to stumble, but never, once you disrupt the soil of the negative self-worth and the negative self-talk, build it strong. Know that every once in a while, one of the bricks is going to stick up, but you're going to do what it takes to smooth that down and keep moving forward. And I guess I'll briefly talk about my journey, because I was asked about it. In my early 40s, I was over 100 pounds overweight. I went to Weight Watchers. I'm not bad-mouthing any weight loss program. I need more constant attention. I went to Weight Watchers. I was able to lose 116 pounds. I think for me, the reason I lost it that time is I had just started a new job. They started an in-house at-work program. I have always had a very strong need to be successful at work. And being successful, Florine Mark, who is the head of Weight Watchers in our area, was on the board of our company. And I had such a desire to be successful with them, it fell over into the weight loss part too. And I was the top loser in our company at our at-work program. And I even met Florine Mark because she was on our board with our company. And so I had a support network. When they no longer had that support in the office, and I'd never felt that visible in the office anymore, and I went to the once-a-week classes at our local Weight Watchers, the accountability wasn't there. And Doc V talks about the accountability, that we need a strong accountability partner. And when I fell into that weekly program where I didn't have the accountability, where because I actually even won a free year of my health insurance paid for, because I'd worked so hard to lose the weight. But when I fell into that once a week program, the accountability fell by the wayside. And when the accountability fell by the wayside, my commitment fell by the wayside. That's nobody's fault but my own, but it did. And that's why when I got out and I started getting sick, and I had the anemia, and I had to have the infusions, and I probably had over 50 to 75 of them over a 5-year period till I had a surgery where they corrected what was wrong. And when they corrected what was wrong, I stabilized that. Then I had gained so much weight that I had to have bariatric surgery. And I had bariatric surgery because I was a BMI of 60, and I didn't know how I was ever going to get it under control myself. So I had the bariatric surgery. I followed the bariatric diet to the letter of the law, drinking the protein shakes, eating the soft foods, doing everything they told me exact. As soon as I hit 6 months post-surgical, they had a mentoring program. I volunteered for that because I knew I needed to be engaged in the journey. So I mentored other patients that were coming through the program, because I have always felt strongly that if you are exposing yourself and you're trying to educate somebody, then you better be leading by example, because that's just, I think integrity is very important. So if I'm going to say something, I want to be living what I'm saying, because I think that's very important. And so I started mentoring patients to keep myself engaged in the journey, because I knew I had failed before and I had to succeed this time. Oh, Lisa, Doc V does not like Premier protein shakes. And I'm going to tell you, my bariatric team does not like them after a year or a year and a half out. The reason Doc V does not like them at all is there's a lot of artificial sugar, artificial sweeteners, artificial products inside them. So that's why he does not like them. My bariatric team, after about a year and a half, they were trying to get me to wean off of them. What happened in my case is that I had lost 110, 115 pounds. And in my head, I had decided that the Premier Protein was the reason that I had lost the weight. I had it in my head that I had to have 2 a day or I wasn't going to lose weight. What ended up happening is I made it all the way to year 3, maintaining my weight, but I really never lost anymore. Then I got worried that, am I going to ever lose anymore? I'm past the honeymoon phase. Everyone talks about the honeymoon phase. They even tell you you've got 1 year to lose the weight. After 1 year, it gets hard to lose the weight. You're not going to be able to lose it. And I was at that point. And I got to about 115 pounds lost. Fast forward, fighting with it, going back, up 5 pounds, down 10 pounds, up 10 pounds, down 10 pounds, 15 pounds. I played like that for about 2 years. COVID hit. When COVID hit, all the bariatric groups that I joined, because again, I needed accountability. I joined everyone I could find. I had a lot of new friends from all these groups. But when I sat back a month after COVID hit, I was watching all of my friends making meals, adding protein to them, and creating meals that looked like the foods that got me in trouble before I had surgery. They were creating these beautiful waffles, putting protein in them, labeling them healthy food, and they were eating them, and they were gaining 5 COVID pounds, 10 COVID pounds, 25 COVID pounds. And I sat back and I had started to gain a couple pounds. I think I gained 7 pounds. And I got really scared because I was looking at the edge of the cliff that I had gone over the last time. At that point, I was only 115 pounds. I was only 15 pounds over that 100-pound loss. I still was far from my goal weight. I'm not at goal weight yet, and I'm 165 pounds down. I'm still working towards it, and I still lose weight every single week, almost every single week. But it's slower, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. Because if I can still be losing 5 years out, then if you're not losing, it's because you just need to tweak something in your journey. It is possible. You just have to relearn what your body needs. I was still drinking 2 Premier protein shakes a day at that time, and I wasn't losing it. It went for 2 years. My bariatric team that did my surgery was talking to me about no more than 1 Premier protein shake a day because they wanted me to convert back to real foods. They wanted me to learn to eat like a normal person. I was afraid to. I was so scared of getting under that 100-pound loss that I was afraid that if I let go of those shakes, I wouldn't be able to succeed. I got involved in the Doc V Challenge when it was brand new. And I listened to his videos, and he helped me to understand I needed to work on my self-worth. That was an obstacle. So for the first month or two, I worked on I am affirmations, meditations, thankfulness journaling, until I started to clean out the fat filters. I am losing slowly also. When I can focus on being normal, I lose. Yes, see, Ruth? And that's it. This tool, you guys, I promise you, this tool never stops working if you keep working the tool. It will never stop. The reason it stops working is that we stop being committed to the journey. And I want you guys to see that. Because then what happened with me is I joined this challenge. I worked on my self-worth. I worked with the meditation, the gratitude journaling, and I had I am affirmations going on in the background nonstop, because I was falling into that woe is me, I can't do this, life is falling apart, I've gained a few pounds, everybody around me is gaining a few pounds, COVID's killing everybody, what is this life going to look like? And I got scared. And when somebody posted that they'd gained 25 pounds, it was done for me. I couldn't do it anymore. I wasn't going to do it anymore. Doc V started a group. When he started the group, I signed on immediately. Right there. And I'm going to tell you I was nervous, because I'm like, I'm not at goal weight. I don't know if I can do this, but I signed up with group, and I have been in small group with him since the very first day he ever did that. And what happened for me is that we were talking one day, and I fessed up. I had gained a few pounds with COVID. I was holding on by the skin of my teeth, and I didn't know what to do to change. I truly did not think I could ever like his program of green smoothies and salads. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing that I'd ever heard of, but I was willing to give it a chance. And the first thing I did was I dropped the shakes. And as soon as I dropped the shakes, I started losing weight. And I thought, and what I did, and I'm going to tell you guys this too, because I told him and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I bought 12 cases of Premier Protein in January before COVID, because I was drinking 2 a day, and it went on sale twice a year. So I would buy a bunch of them so that I didn't have to buy them at the top dollar price. I bought 12 cases of that stuff. And when I started working with Doc V, I had like 8 cases left. And I actually gave it to a homeless shelter, because even though it's not the top quality because it's got preservatives and additives, I kind of figured if they put it in their pocket, if they have no food available, it's better than having nothing. And I started gardening, actually, is the next step for me. I started to garden. I started to actually enjoy it. It actually gave me a chance to reconnect with my parents, because one of my grandparents had a 140-acre farm in southern Illinois. All of a sudden, they started sharing their knowledge. My dad just told me today, I don't know how you do it, but you got beautiful strawberries and you've got beautiful peppers, and I have never been able to grow peppers in my life. He comes down here every day for some reason or another, and he's grabbing tomatoes or he's grabbing peppers. And I've got such an abundance, I don't care, and it makes me feel good that he's able to get fresh fruits and vegetables from me now. I can give to him. So that was the next step. I got into the salads. I got into my gardening. I realized that a green smoothie it's an energy boost. It's a way to put together a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables, and it makes me feel good. I consider my smoothie the cheap, healthy version of those stupid $5 energy boosts people buy at the checkout at the grocery store. I feel good. I never had a problem with bowel movements, but I'm going to tell you, if you do, get your fruits and vegetables in, because that will make you regular. I noticed even more regularity with that. I never suffered with that, but I think I always tried to make sure I had fiber in. That was the next step for me, as I put the fruits and vegetables together. And what I found is I like them. I honestly like them. If you clear your palate and you give yourself a chance. So now I'm experimenting. Like, I've got spaghetti squash growing. I've got strawberries growing. I had okra growing. I've got a couple types of basil growing. I've got raspberries growing. I've got 4 types of tomatoes growing. I've got 3 types of peppers growing. I've had as many as 13 types of lettuce growing. And I'm a northern girl. I'm in a northern winter state, so I only get this a narrow period of time. But it's made a difference. Right now, I've got all the ingredients because I'm going to mix up salsas. And today I made my eggs, my baked eggs, because I got my power back. And I cut up my tomatoes and I grabbed my peppers and I put in some onions. Because Doc V told us too about when you have the green onions, the long stemmed green onions, cut off the bottom. You can put them in water overnight, put them out in your garden. They'll start to grow. It's true. I've got some of those growing too. Mix it up. I bake an egg. I have it handy. If I go into the office, I grab a couple. If I'm working and I need something fast, I just grab a baked egg because it's filled with vegetables. Or I grab my salad, or I grab my smoothie. But I finally learned that food is about fueling my body. I no longer, and I know you guys are going to probably hate me and think I'm lying to you, but I no longer feel that I am being deprived if I don't get that sweet treat. I don't like how it feels. I don't like the heavy feeling. I actually have taken the time during COVID and analyzed. If I feel sluggish at 3 o'clock, I can 99% of the time track it back to the food I ate for lunch. If I've told you guys that I drank milk. I drank, I see, oh, AC's there. Hey, AC. Again, this is our time. So if you guys have any thoughts or comments, any concerns, let me know. Lisa, if you want more information about the Premier Shakes, let me know. They have a lot of additives. They have fake sugars. They have, it's really about getting your body back to real foods. So I think that's what you want to do. I feel healthier now. My skin is healthier. My body is healthier. I had all my blood work done in January. I am faithful. I go every year, and if my primary wants me every 6 months, I go every 6 months. I had full blood works done because I believe that you have to do that. We had a major surgery done. I am faithful to what they tell me I need to do, but my numbers are beautiful. I don't have to supplement as much because we monitor it. But when I go in, I look at what I'm low in, and then I try to find the fruits and vegetables that are higher in that, and I add them into my smoothies. There are a couple things I supplement, but I monitor it with my doctor, and I go that route because if I can be all natural, I want to be all natural. My skin feels better, my body feels better, my energy feels better. I think I'm more successful at the job because I cleared the mind garbage and I cleared the body garbage. And part of that clearing of that garbage is the water. So do the steps, you guys. You can do it. These things will help you. I do follow narrower window of hours. I really don't want to be eating more than 7 hours a day. I was even thinking about it today, like eating on the small plates. And I know the doc was talking about it either this morning or yesterday. I still to this, I never graduated to the big plates. Because what I found is that I fill the plate bigger, and then I get to that point where you go, it's too full, and it hurts, and it doesn't feel good. And I don't ever want to feel comfortable eating that much food. So I'm going to tell you that this program will work if you give it a chance, but it is not just the food, it's the mind. And the first thing I had to overcome was the mind. I had to get my self-confidence, I had to get my belief in myself, and I had to get my daily accountability. And in the beginning, my daily accountability was just the group. Then I got my AP together, and then I got involved in groups, so I have those people I'm accountable to. But I think you have to build the network. You have to stay engaged. Like just being here tonight, and feel free to share at any time. That shows an engagement. Honestly, the reason I agreed to do these lives is because for the same reason I agreed to mentor patients for my doctor's office. It's an accountability for me because I believe if I am going to be a person with integrity, that I have to be living what I'm telling you. And that it's not that I didn't believe in it, but I just knew it was another nail to tell me that I had to do it. Because if I'm going to represent, I didn't ever want to have to tuck my tail between my legs again and walk away. my gym had me teaching classes, and I had to tuck my tail and walk away because my integrity would not allow me to continue when I didn't have control of my life. And that is part of the reason why I agreed to do this, because I knew that it would make me stay committed, because I don't ever want to represent myself in a way that I am not faithful to. That to me is very important. I don't own anything more than my integrity, and that was why I signed up for this, is because I wanted another thing to be accountable to, and that's you guys. And I'm here for you if you're looking for it. And Ruth, you're perfect in what you just said. It's slow. After a period of time, it's slow. But the person who tells you that you cannot lose weight 5 years out doesn't know how to work this journey. Because I'm going to tell you, I am September 12th, 5 years out, and I still lose weight every week. Jokingly, I've been called the inch by inch girl, but you know what? I'll take that any day over being a regain and only being at a 50% loss. I don't want to be that person anymore. I went down that path. I lost 100 pounds and I gained it back. I don't ever want to be that person again. I can't tell you how humiliating it was to have to go to the owners of the gym and say, I know I can't represent you fairly anymore because I've gained back nearly every pound I lost. That was humbling, and I don't ever want to do that again. And I don't want you guys to do it. So look for the ways to be accountable. Put yourself out there. Do the smoothies, do the salads, reach out to me, reach out to each other. You can do it. You are not alone. This is something that we all fight, or we wouldn't be here right now. But it is the accountability. It is being part of the challenge group. It is being part of this group. It is being accountable to your accountability partners. It is doing the homework. It is every day just trying to find something more to do than what you did yesterday. This does not have to end at 1 year and say, oh, well, I need a revision. You can make it work for a lifetime. It will work for a lifetime. I am absolutely certain that a year from now, I will still be losing weight if I continue to work my journey. And I'm sorry, I feel like I was preaching today, but it was an eye-opener for me. When I had this 5 days of no power, I could see where little things were starting to slip, and I'm like, this can't happen. I have worked too hard. I have put 5 years in, and I cannot let it happen. And I'm here for you guys. In any way I can be here for you guys, I'm here for you. Don't ever give up. You've heard this from your doctors before. Even if you've had a backslide, grab now and make the changes. I'm going to tell you that if you have had a weight regain, you weigh yourself right now. Put that number on a calendar, on a notebook, and then get up tomorrow morning and weigh yourself. In the morning, you weigh less, but at least it will give you some little bit of a spark of hope to get started, and then make that next day work, and the next day, and the next day, and you will be winning in your journey. So if you guys need anything, reach out to me. I will go live again on Wednesday. But no, this journey, this tool will work for you forever if you're willing to commit to working the journey. It's about, for me, I call it integrity. It's my integrity. I want to represent fairly to you, and you need to represent fairly to yourselves. You deserve it. So dig in and look for the accountability everywhere that you're willing to, and then start getting uncomfortable with your accountability, and it will help you go next level. That's why I'm where I'm at now, 165, and still moving forward. And even though this past 5 days wasn't easy, I got through it without a backslide, and I'm fully confident. My mom is walking 8,000 steps a day with me before 7 a.m. It's doable, you guys. One small step at a time. Not all at once, but one small step. And just a reminder, the Premier Proteins, they're just full of artificial stuff. We know artificial as like the doc calls it, it's a chemical explosion inside your body. Wherever you can possibly put the natural nutrients in, I have found it feels a lot better. And once you cleanse your system of the garbage, you'll start to really taste how good the natural foods are. But so long it's been masked, you got to get rid of the mask so that you can experience the true flavor. And what you'll find out is that you were only experiencing one flavor, which is that artificial flavor. And when you remove that mask, you're going to start to go, oh, wow, I didn't really realize that there was so much more of a variety of flavors. So you're going to find you like it when you cleanse your palate. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday. And yeah, I was kind of wordy, sorry. But never give up. This tool never quits on you. You quit on the tool. Don't quit on that tool. Thank you, guys, and you have a beautiful night.